Hello everyone, this is G and I'm back with another video. So this is going to be a brief video and I apologize for not being too easy to see. It's nighttime here. It's about a little after 10 p.m. here in the city. And so light is at a premium. So I'm going to make this quick. I hope everybody is doing well. So I just saw a video from Hero Hey where apparently some people on ResetEra are accusing the character of Barrett of being a racist caricature and depiction of a black man. So I just want to just quickly comment on this. First of all, no, that's not true. Barrett is not and has never been a racist depiction of a black person. Now, is he a stereotype? Yes. Every character in Final Fantasy VII is a stereotype of some trope, right? Of some archetype, or in some cases, in the case of Barrett, for example, is a stereotype based on in a real life person. The character of Barrett, in particular, his design and his very gruff personality, is based in the actor Mr.T, who was very well known and popular back in the 80s for shows such as The A Team, where he played B.A. Baracus, B.A. standing for Bad Attitude. And he played the boxer, I think it was Clubber Lang, in one of the earlier Rocky movies, like Rocky 2 or Rocky 3. I forget which one, but one of the 80s, early 80s Rocky's movies. Definitely was prior to Rocky 4 with Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago. But anyway, so he's based off of a real life person who has this gruff, very assertive, masculine personality, which, believe it or not, yeah, black men do at least like to perceive themselves as. I've said in other videos that this depiction of African American men as weak excuse me, helpless or needing to be saved is actually quite offensive to at least some members of the black community and the black male community, because of the fact that this type of helpless damsel in distress type of depiction, I should say, that seems to be popular in progressive media today is not typically how black people, in particular black men, see themselves or want to be seen or represented in media. There's a reason why you have characters like, say, Blade, who are beloved by, black nerds. Excuse me. I'm healthy, I swear. Um, as I was saying, characters like Blade, right? These very aggressive, assertive, masculine, alpha male. You don't mess with me, or you're going to get hurt. Type of characters, and Barrett represents this. More importantly, Barrett is not a racist stereotype. If Barrett were a racist stereotype, then he'd be drinking, he'd be drugging, he wouldn't care for Marlene, his adopted daughter, the way that he does. Is he a stereotype? Yes. As I said earlier, every character in Final Fantasy VII is a stereotype of something in some fashion, but they also defy their stereotypes. And one of the and it's in Hero Hayes' video and in his article on NeanNet. But one of the people talks about how Barrett is a scary black man and a angry black man. Um, Barrett is scary. Barrett is angry, but neither one of those I guess you could say descriptors in this case have anything to do with his race. He's angry and he's scary because he's a freaking terrorist. And he's a terrorist because he's, at least in his opinion, fighting for the planet, and he's fighting against Shinra, who is destroying the planet, right? Making life incredibly difficult and then later on deadly uh, when the plate collapses and crushes everybody in Sector 7, right? Shinra is willing to, kill people, sacrifice people, they don't care. That is what Barrett is angry about. That's what every member of Avalanche, whether it's Biggs, Wedge, Jesse, Tifa, Cloud, that's what they're all angry about. That's what they're all fighting for. Now, whether or not you believe that their activities as terrorists are justified, that's up to you. But Barrett's anger in the game has absolutely nothing to do with his race. He isn't. This isn't like Jax in Mortal Kombat 11 here. Okay, it's got absolutely nothing to do with his race and everything to do with what he is fighting for, which ultimately is other people. The benefit and protection of other people, which sadly, unfortunately, because it's Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy is a tragedy, doesn't come to pass. He isn't able to save the people that he's trying to protect. As I mentioned earlier, with the plate crashing down. And then on top of that, if I remember correctly, the plate crashing down gets blamed on his terrorist group Avalanche. But anyway, Barrett is a leader. He's a father. He is both literally and figuratively the team dad of the game. He's a very well-rounded, well-written character who is more than just his appearance. So again, ResetEra, coming from a brown woman, you have to listen to me, because I'm brown and I'm female and I rank higher than probably a good chunk of people, all these white knights, literally, on ResetEra. So you have to listen to me, ResetEra. Barrett's not a racist depiction. I wish there were more characters in American media that were like Barrett. I wish that characters like Mr.T's B.A. Baracus, right? Like the gruff dude who's got attitude, but he does the right thing in the end, and he's really a good person, just rough around the edges. I wish that was sort of a common character trope that was back in media once again. So there's that. What I'm wondering is, though, given this response to Barrett, which doesn't surprise me, there was some, I guess, rumblings as regards Barrett even last year because of his look and his voice actor, who was African American, by the way. And some people took issue with the fact that the voice actor gave him a very preachy, I don't want to say preachy, but maybe preacher type of talk. The way he speaks, it's kind of like a preacher at church, Go on and preach the good word, that type of thing, right? Or at least so they say. I've heard him talk because I've seen a few clips of the game now. I really don't hear that. Maybe a few times, right? But it doesn't seem to be something that's like regular. So I don't know. But I'm not surprised this is coming from ResetEra. I'm just sad that this is coming at all. Because we're calling a character who's been around for 20 plus years, right? The original game came out in 1997. And we're saying, oh, he's a racist depiction of a black person. No, he's not. He's based off a real life black person. Do you want to go to Mr.T and tell him that he is a negative stereotype and a racist depiction of black men and black masculinity? I don't think that's something that you want to do, ResetEra. Okay, so there's that. But what I'm also wondering is, given that there are more characters to be revealed as these episodes, I think they're calling them, go on, right? Characters such as Sid, right? And then Red 13, who I think is introduced towards the end of this current episode. So what do they think of them? How is ResetEra going to handle the character of Sid, who's very much, the sort of like gruff, traumatized soldier stereotype, who is verbally abusive to his wife? I'm certain, given how ResetEra operates, I am certain that they will treat the character of Sid with nuance and respect, and they'll show sympathy for the devil. I'm positive. In hell. But anyway, then of course there's, as I mentioned, Red 13, the Native American red-furred dog. So I wonder how they're going to respond to him. I wonder what type of articles they're eventually going to put out about how racist right? Red is as a character because again, it leans heavily uh, on Native American imagery. But here's the thing: whereas ResetEra will probably see stereotypes, and yes, Red is a stereotype, just like Barrett's a stereotype, just like Cloud and Tifa and Aerith and anybody else. But when I think of Red, I'm not gonna say I don't notice that he's basically a walking, talking Native American imagery. But when I think about Red, one of the things that always pops up in my mind is that touching, heartbreaking scene uh, when you go to Cosmo Canyon, right, to his hometown, basically, and you go through these trials and whatnot, and he eventually realizes that his father, Seto, and I think I've mentioned this in a video last year, Red finds out that his father, Seto, was not the coward who ran away that Red had always been told he was. Red grew up believing that his dad was a coward. In truth, his father was petrified and is essentially dead, right, for all intents and purposes. He's the statue covered in like arrows that stands and symbolically defends the village. And at the end, when Red realizes this and he realizes he was wrong, and he talks to his father, and he tells him that he's proud and that he's proud to be his son, and that he's going to make the family proud and make Cosmo Canyon proud and make his grandfather proud. And you get that scene. I'm choking up just talking about it. You get that scene where that says Seto, right, the petrified Seto, the statue, begins to cry. It's tears from a stone. That for me was always one of the most powerful moments in the game, right? Everybody talks about Aerith and her death, and yeah, that's understandable. But for me, what always tugged in my heartstrings was just that moment when he realizes that he was wrong and he's humble enough to admit he was wrong, and then again, just tears from a stone, man. Ah, God, I'm gonna cry. But anyway, my yeah, come on. My point being is that there is so much more to these characters. There's so much more to Barrett, to Red, to Sid, to Tifa, to Aerith, to Cloud, to Sephiroth, and everyone else than just how they look. And it's very frustrating for me um, how these progressive types, or generally speaking, these progressive types, love to say that they're championing uh, minorities and all these other things, but in truth, and they want to make it seem as if it's the character or the depiction or the work that's the problem. Yet, and I rather say, and they want to accuse the viewer or the consumer of, I guess, objectifying the character or the work is the best way I can put it. But they always seem to be the ones who can't look past the appearance, whether it's Barrett or whether it's Lara Croft. They're the ones who almost always seem unable to see beyond the design that, in some ways, I'm guessing, frightens them. I don't know why. Well, I guess in Barrett's case, I can see why with the Gatling gun on his arm, but that's the impression that I get, that they somehow feel threatened by these images, whether it's the image of a powerful black man or whether it's the image of a powerful woman. They seem threatened by it, and instead of addressing themselves and asking themselves, why does this image bother me? They immediately say, oh, no, image bad, image sexist, image racist, get rid of it. No, we don't have to get rid of it. But I would say that it's these ResetEra types, these, generally speaking, these progressive types, who need to ask themselves why they are so threatened by a picture on a screen, especially when it's characters that have been in existence for decades. So many of the characters that they complain about again, Tifa, Barrett, Lara, so on and so on and so forth. Most of them come from the mid and late 1990s. You are upset over something that is older than they are in many cases. It just confounds me. I can't help it. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day or night. Be happy, be healthy, be safe, and I'll see you around. Bye.